Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel yet again. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I meal prep my ground turkey and also my mixed vegetables that are just frozen, straight bought from Costco. These are honestly one of my favorite things to make just because they're so easy for one, and honestly these taste amazing. It's a mix of green beans, carrots, corn, and peas, and it's just legendary. This thing is a lifesaver. You have no idea. So I'm actually recording this. I'm making all this at the same time that I'm making some chicken breast, but that's going to be a separate video. So if you see some cuts here and there, that's because the chicken breast is going to be also being done in the air fryer right now. I'll give you a quick peek. So when that's done in the air fryer, I'll have to take that out and just give it a quick turn, and that'll be part of the other video. So if you see some cuts here and there, that's why. But yeah, let's hop straight into it. I might also, depending on how the timing works out, make some frozen broccoli, this is just really easy to toss. You actually can make that in the microwave. I just put some other seasonings on it as well. You'll see if I make that. If not, that'll be a separate video though as well. So this stuff is great for meal prep, just making a ton of food and being able to toss it in the fridge and just reheat it in the microwave whenever you want it. So, I'll show you all the ingredients. Number one, we got some ground turkey, of course. Then, we're heading into, let me fix the camera here. After that, heading into all the seasonings. So this is gonna be vegetable seasoning, Clubhouse. This is gonna be for these vegetables that I showed you. And if you guys watched the video with the chicken breast, it's basically all the exact same seasoning. So Chipotle mango, that one's from Costco. That one's really good. That's the secret weapon for all my meats that I like to spice. Bit of onion salt, obviously some regular salt, some garlic powder, and some black pepper as well. Oh, and also the smoked paprika. Oh, my my ground turkey just fell on the floor. It's fine, it's in the bag. All right, so for the ground turkey, I like to get the pan nice and hot, so I'll turn that up to a nice medium-high heat, as you can see there. And same thing with the mixed vegetables. Turn that up to a nice high heat. The mixed vegetables, I'm just gonna toss in right now. These ones are super easy to make. Literally just take them out the freezer and straight into the pan. Perfect, just like that. Now I'm gonna grab, because while that's heating up, I'm just gonna grab a little bit of water in a glass and pour it on top so that I don't burn any of the vegetables, because it takes a little bit for them to thaw out with the heat, and it's kind of just, I don't know, my mom taught me to do this, so this is just how I do it. I don't know if this is actually what you're supposed to do, but I just pour a little bit, just a tiny little bit of water over it, because once it starts thawing out, then it's going to collect water and it's going to kind of steam itself. But just at the start here, because it takes a little bit to thaw out, I don't want to, burn the bottom at all. So pour that in there. And the chicken's about to be done, so I will catch you guys in a second. Just going to let that pan heat up, and I'm going to throw this lid on here on the wok actually. I'm gonna throw that on just so that can start heating up quicker, because this is a pretty small burner here for a really big pot, using the bigger burner for the turkey. So I'm gonna throw that on there so that it heats up a little quicker, traps some of the heat in there, and then I'll take that off at the end eventually so that the vegetables can start kind of steaming and the water can start evaporating much easier. But I will cut back in just a second. All right, back. Just toss those over there, and let's get right into it. So I'm going to take out this spatula. This is for the turkey, and then this is for the vegetables. Obviously, you don't want to be using the same spatula for raw meat and then also these vegetables because they're not the same at all. And raw meat, you don't want to be eating raw meat, obviously. So if you get some raw meat on the spatula, then you put it in the vegetables, it might not cook, and then that's recipe for disaster. So let's start seasoning the vegetables. Seasoning for the vegetables, very simple, very, very easy. Just some salt, pepper, and then the vegetable seasoning that I showed you earlier. I like to do a generous amount because this is quite a lot of vegetables and it's going to get all mixed together once it starts thawing just a little bit. So don't worry if it looks like a lot, it's all going to get mixed together, it's all going to distribute out throughout these vegetables. Once I get this seasoning in here, I will then toss the turkey into the pan. I turned the heat down just a little bit on the pan there, but I want it to be hot so that the turkey doesn't stick. I don't use any oil when I cook the turkey, I just throw the turkey right in, and I have a good non-stick pan so it doesn't stick to the pan, and then also just the kind of juices and the blood from the turkey helps it, and the fat helps it to not stick. So there we go. And moving on with the vegetable seasoning. Pretty simple stuff, just get a healthy dose on there. Now trust me, these vegetables might not look that snazzy, they might not look that crazy, but these are so good. I'll literally just eat them straight out of the container sometimes. That's how good they are, even a couple of days after they're made. But yeah, usually you can see it's quite stiff. That's what happens when you pour that initial bit of water on there. It kind of clumps together, but you can see some steam coming out there. Just try to break it apart a little bit. Obviously it's gonna thaw out once the heat starts to collect a little bit more, so I'm not too worried about breaking up the big chunks because that'll be much easier once it starts to thaw out. But just to get these big chunks out of here and start mixing it around a little bit, because you're going to see the bottom vegetables there are thawing out already. So you're going to want to mix this up not only to kind of help the thawing process, but also to mix around that seasoning. Although it's a little bit annoying when these chunks form, because then they start spraying everywhere when you try and break them up. But there we go. Got a little bit of mix on that, and we'll throw this lid back on there. Right, so let's hop into the turkey now. Pan is nice and hot. Oh yeah, very hot. I'll just turn that down just a little bit because I don't want it to burn immediately as I put it in. Here I just have a portioned out bag of ground turkey. There's quite a bit of juice is here. I don't know if I actually want that much, so I'm going to close up the bag just a little bit and pour some of them down the drain. This is just personal preference. I don't want to deal with all those. Actually, you know what? Just throw it all in the pan. It's going to evaporate and seep into the turkey anyway. I don't know if that's going to make me lose any of the flavor or not, so just in case, I'll keep it. And it's just all going to go in the pan all at once. There you go, nice sizzle on there. Now since the pan's very hot, I gotta get over there and start mixing it up a little bit even before I add some seasoning, or else it's gonna start burning relatively quickly, but this also makes it so that it doesn't stick to the pan. You guys will see when I turn this around, it's already, yeah, that's a very hot pan. Turn down the heat quite a bit. So you guys will see it's already cooking down there on the bottom. So I want to mix that up. I don't mind a little bit of char as well, personally, but that's just my preference. Get this mixed up. truth be told, probably you want your pan not that hot, but I had to let it heat up for quite a while because I'm dealing with these vegetables and the chicken as well that's in the air fryer. But that is all right. Still looking good in my opinion. Just keep folding, keep folding. I turned down the heat a little bit so it should slow down the cooking once the pan starts to cool off just a little bit. And also once those juices start to get in there, I'm gonna aim you so that you're looking straight at the turkey because nothing interesting is happening with the vegetables right now, obviously. There we go, you guys can hear the sizzling taken down quite a bit. Now we can start to think about maybe adding in some of the seasoning, but first I just want to really make sure when I get this stuff off the edges, first of all, because I don't want that to burn. There we go. All right, settling in nicely. And we can start thinking about some seasoning now. So I'm gonna start off with just some salt. Very simple. I hope I'm not blocking your view too much here. I'm gonna also just make sure that I mix this and the vegetables around kind of periodically in between as I'm adding these in because I don't want either of them to burn. Switch over to the vegetables really quick. You can see these are coming along little bit by little bit. I'm gonna put this down actually so that I can use both hands. And as they thaw out more, you can break up the chunks much easier. And I'll probably end up adding some more seasoning just in a little bit, but I want to focus on the other stuff right now. But you can see the seasonings mixing in there. I usually go for 1 or 2 rounds of seasoning. Usually 2, always 2 actually. You can see now this pan is very, oh, you guys could not see what I was doing there with the vegetables, whoops. Just mixed them around, very simple stuff. You guys can see now that with the turkey here, there's a lot of liquid, a lot of juices in the pan there. So I'm gonna let myself turn the heat up just a little bit, down to just in between medium and medium high. Keep mixing. I don't want the side that's down towards the pan to get burnt, right? So just constantly flipping, trying to get an even cook throughout the ground turkey. All right, looking good. I will continue to season that now. Just going in with some pepper. Same thing with the vegetables. It might look like quite a lot of seasoning here, but it's gonna get all mixed in, so don't worry about that. And I don't know if you guys just heard there, but that was the air fryer, so I'm gonna quickly flip those around. I'll show you guys what I'm doing with the vegetables here, just giving them a quick stir. There you guys can see all the chunks are breaking up much easier now. Getting a little bit of steam in there. You don't even really need to cook these that much. You're kind of just thawing them out and drying out all the water that collects in the bottom of the pan there. So I'm gonna turn this heat down just a little bit on the turkey because I'm gonna have to deal with those chicken breasts in just a second here. And I don't want the turkey to burn while I'm doing that. obviously. It's coming along nicely though. As you can see, color's changing, which means it's cooking. And if you see some bits that are not cooking, then usually that means that it's because they're not getting heated up and they're kind of on the outside, on the outskirts. So you just mix those in, make sure that they start touching the bottom of the pan, because that's what's going to cook them the fastest. And you just want a nice even cook, as good as possible. So I'll catch you guys in just a second. I'm going to go deal with that chicken breast, but this is what it's looking like so far. All right, just put the chicken back in and we're back with the turkey. And the vegetables, of course. So you guys can let me know what you think of this. I'm definitely not a professional chef, as you guys know, but I'm trying to improve my cooking skills. So any tips, any suggestions that you guys have, different seasonings, different ways to cook them, I am all ears. So give me your suggestions in the comments below. But obviously I'm not going for maximum taste, maximum freshness, because I'm just making this as a meal prep type of thing. Also, you want to work on breaking up your ground turkey into chunks that you like to eat. You can break it up a lot, you can break it up not that much. It's all personal preference when it comes down to that. I'm gonna add a little bit more seasoning to these vegetables before I mix them up. Not too much. There we go. Some salt, some pepper. And then the vegetable seasoning. And then we'll get into the real seasoning for the turkey, because so far I've just put the salt and the pepper, but it's gonna start to really come together once I get the other seasonings in there. And you see there's just a little bit of ice left, a couple chunks of vegetables. Gonna break those up and then just push them down to the bottom so that they thaw out and start to steam faster, because the heat's coming from the bottom, right? So I want to push those down there, but yeah, very simple stuff here. Just mixing them around. Right. Perfect. All right, let's get into the seasonings for the turkey. So I'll zoom in on that so you can see a little bit better. First off, going with the onion salt. Same thing with the chicken, I don't want too much onion salt, just because that's how I like it to taste. Don't want it to be too oniony. And let's start mixing that around just a little bit, because I don't want it to burn. I want to get the nice even cook, as you guys know. So I want you guys to tell me in the comments, what is your favorite meal and why is it your favorite meal? For me, personally, I think my favorite meal is just a nice Thanksgiving dinner. Turkey, beef, whatever, roast beef, ham, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, a lot of it. All right, we're gonna go in with the garlic powder now. And for me, a part of the reason that that's my favorite dish is because those were some of the favorite times that I had, just having family, friends over, spending time with my family, seeing my mom cook all that beautiful food, and my dad as well, obviously on the barbecue, cooking the turkey, beets, all that stuff. And I'm putting a healthy dosage of all this seasoning, using the paprika now, because it's all gonna get mixed in, so don't worry. Like I said before, now the secret ingredient, chipotle mango seasoning. Get that in there, give it a nice healthy dose of that. Not too much, but you can see it looks very nasty right now. Like that looks like death. but you'll see as we start to mix it in, it's gonna spread out nice and evenly between the turkey breast, or sorry, just the turkey, the ground turkey, and then it'll be not too harsh, not too over seasoned, which I've definitely done a couple times because sometimes I'm a little trigger happy with the seasoning because I want it to taste good. And seasoning, in my opinion, is something that can turn a dish from a 5 straight up to a 9 very easily. Sometimes a little salt, a little pepper, a little garlic can completely change how a food tastes. But yeah, back onto the turkey, the Thanksgiving meal. That's definitely one of my favorites. Just brings me back to good times in my childhood. I actually made myself a bit of a Thanksgiving meal aside from. So I had a little get together with some friends that they made some food, and then I made some food aside from that as well, just because I wanted to try it out. I made some sweet potato mashed potatoes, sweet mashed potatoes, I guess you would call them. And also, I made some ribs. I wanted to get some turkey, but I didn't want a whole turkey for myself, and I couldn't really find any viable options for. Couldn't really find any viable options for just like buying 1 or 2 turkey breasts, so I made some ribs instead. I made some roasted beets, some steamed carrots, some mac and cheese. Had some. I bought some cranberry sauce and some gravy as well. Made that, and it was delicious. Reminded me of home. You guys will see. I don't know if you can see that, but there's some water cooling there. We gotta wait for all of that to evaporate before these are done. I think I'm gonna go in now with a quick second round of the seasoning here, just because that's how I like it. So I'm gonna add some more chipotle mango seasoning, not as much as the first time, but still a little bit more just to make sure that all of it gets seasoned properly. And I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit on that, just so that it gets cooking a little faster. Because now that all the seasoning is going to be done, I can pay attention to it and stay consistent with the mixing. And my favorite dessert, those of you who know me in person will know that I've been deliberating between a lava cake and a sticky toffee pudding. For me, lava cake always had the crown for the past few years. Lava cake always had the crown of best dessert. But then I tried sticky toffee pudding over the past year or so, maybe 6-8 months or something like that. And it is so good. It's definitely rivaling lava cake for me. So if you guys haven't had sticky toffee pudding before, you've got to try it out. Same with lava cake, obviously. They're both excellent. The chocolate sauce just dripping out of the cake is perfect. The toffee on top of the pudding kind of tastes like banana bread to me. The pudding and sticky toffee pudding that I've had, at least at restaurants. I don't know if that's just my taste buds weirding out, but if anyone else has noticed that as well, maybe that's what it's supposed to be, I don't know. But this turkey's looking good. I usually like to wait for the majority just of the juices in the bottom there that you can see are forming. I like to just wait for the majority of that to kind of evaporate, because that's just how I make it. It's just what seems best for the meal prep type of meal that I'm making. But yeah, you guys can see this is simple stuff. Pretty easy. Definitely don't have to be a chef to make this kind of stuff. I'll definitely be posting some more intricate recipes on this channel, but this is a big part of my diet, just this meal prep kind of stuff, so obviously I'm going to show it. Because not everything is spectacular, making 5-star meals that Gordon Ramsay would be proud of every meal, especially when you are a university student making your own food and trying to be reasonable with the amount of money you're spending on food as well. Because if I'm buying each portion individually for what I want to make, that's gonna ramp up the price real quick. But Costco's been my savior in terms of saving money on food. Obviously, if you guys know Costco here in Canada, do you guys have Costco in the US? I don't believe you do. I feel bad for you, but it's just like a bulk store where you buy a ton of food all at once in big quantities, and it's much cheaper than other grocery stores because you buy it in such large quantities. All right, I don't know if you guys heard that, but the chicken there is done in the air fryer, so I'm gonna quickly deal with that after giving this turkey one last mix, and then I'll be back. I'll cut back in just a second. All right, so you guys can see here, I just dealt with that chicken really quick, and you guys can see as I push this turkey around, there's no juices left in the bottom, which is just my signal to turn off the heat. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep the heat on, and I'm just gonna turn off the heat on the bottom burner there, and then shift the vegetables over onto the big burner. So I'll turn the heat off there. Grab these, do a nice little switcheroo because the vegetables aren't done yet, so I want to get those on the big burner just so that they finish a little quicker. And you guys will see here, I've made this a bunch of times, so I kind of know what to look for, but obviously give it a taste. Make sure it's seasoned how you want. I do know one thing, that as a chef, you're always supposed to taste what you make to make sure it's good. Yep, that's good. Seasoned well. I like that. And that's basically it for the turkey. And those vegetables, very simple. For the rest of the time, I'm just going to be mixing them periodically every minute or two. Every 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm just going to wait until the water evaporates in there. At the bottom, once you start pushing the vegetables across and no water seeps out from underneath them, then that's how I know they're going to be done. So I'll cut back to when they're done there. But this is basically it, and I'll see you guys when the vegetables are done. All right, so it's probably been maybe another 4 or 5 minutes since the last cut, and you'll see once I push those veggies, there's no longer really any liquid showing up on the bottom there. Maybe just a couple bubbles, but as you turn the heat off, obviously it's not immediately going to cool down, so that's going to evaporate the rest of those. So heat's off. This turkey is great. Delicious. Those, like I said, with the turkey I've made already so many times, I know what I'm doing in terms of how much seasoning to put and stuff like that. I know what I like, but I'll give it a little taste test just for fun. Let's see. It's hot. Oh yeah, delicious. And you can see getting a little bit of sizzle, so you don't want to you want to make sure that if your pan is hot and then the water evaporates, that's when you have a risk of burning your vegetables. So just keep mixing them around until the pan cools down a little bit. If you hear that sizzling, unless you like them charred a little bit, I personally just like them how they are right now. But that is how I make ground turkey and mixed vegetables. Those were just frozen. I didn't chop those up, obviously. Ground turkey, that's how I make that for meal prep. thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Leave any comments, suggestions down below, and hopefully the next thing I make might be a little more gourmet. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.